I'm in the game. I'm in the game. Hello, I'm in the video with my daddy.
All right, everybody. So what's going on? So tonight is a special Friday edition because Steve has a modeling show tomorrow. So we're making this work so he can go to his show. But we're gonna try to make this show work. He's on a cell phone, so if there's technical difficulties, it's just the way it's gonna be today. So let's get on with it. How we doing, Steve?
Hey Joshua, how you doing?
You still able to hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, nice. Okay. So
Yeah, I think we got all the bugs worked out now.
right. So how long have you been on YouTube?
I don't know, 7, 8 years. Just
How have
playing
you
around here and there.
how have you liked the process? Because you got quite a bit of a following.
I'm not too bad. I think I got just under 2,000, maybe 2,500.
That's way more than I have. So that's why like when you look at some of the builds that you do, I can see why everybody likes watching your stuff. How do you present that, or how do you particularly interact with your YouTube audience?
I don't know. A lot of people spend a lot of money on editing and stuff like that. I just kind of roll with it, go with it, and I don't edit nothing, and I just kind of speak my mind and kind of just go with it.
Okay.
And
Cool.
I don't edit nothing, and I kind of used to, and I got tired of doing that, so I just kind of make 5 minute videos and speak what I'm thinking and stuff like that.
No, I mean it's really cool, and it's great that everybody has their own style of doing stuff, right? And it's really awesome, and that's some of the quality of videos that and you show all the mistakes too on the way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll show you my mistakes and my there's a couple. I got boxes full of mistakes, so I don't hide nothing. I mean, I got projects that are sitting here for 7 years, and I'm not happy with them. They sit for a while, and I'm like, oh, I'll start getting it again, and then not happy with it. It sits in the box for a couple more years, and I'm like, oh, I think I could find a better way to fix that, and then work on it some more.
So Steve, before we get too far into this, go ahead and plug your channel for the people that aren't subscribed to you.
I have a Facebook page and YouTube. It's Steve Courtney Scale Customs, and I pretty much do lowriders and mini truck style stuff and just wild paint jobs and stuff like that.
So is that pretty much your favorite thing to do? Is just the cars and trucks?
Yeah, I grew up in the early '90s doing mini trucks and lowriders, and I had a small shop in Canton, Ohio, and we did air hydraulics and airbags and pinstriping and just small graphics and stuff like that. And I guess real life turned into model cars and stuff like that. And
Do you have a lowrider actually?
I've had probably about 30 of them over my lifetime, and
Okay.
I have a Cadillac CTS wagon it's lowered half an inch, and then I had last 2 years I've had a CTS sedan that was lowered an inch and a half.
No, that's really cool. Do you have any of your model kits that are like a 1-to-1?
Not anymore. I've had a couple. My S10 I had a couple S10s, 1-to-1 and model based, and I started doing an S10 Blazer, and I just sold that project, I don't know, about a year and a half ago, and I just lost interest in it, and I was going to do a model of it.
Oh, that's cool. That's really, really cool. So what's your favorite model car to build into a lowrider?
Well, I really don't have anything. Anything just, well, crazy paint, I would say.
It doesn't matter what the kit is, you're just gonna
Nah,
right?
just anything with crazy paint. I try like pushing the limits on the paint and my skills, and taking them from full size down to this big, and trying to push the limits of how much paint I can on it and different colors, and pushing the browners with it.
No, that's cool. That's that's cool. Now, what type of paint are you? We're gonna go into tools a little bit here. What type of paint are you using to do some of the paint jobs?
Just all automotive, house of color and exotic, and just anything I get from the paint shop.
So you're not doing the craft paint. You're trying to stick to the automotive stuff.
But the only thing I do with craft paint is interiors.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Nothing wrong with
I
that.
intermix them. I formula it, and I, 2 or 3 colors. A lot of the Tamiya colors, I'll make 2 or 3 to make one to make my interiors.
Oh, yeah, there you go. So that was paint, right? So you're mostly the automotive paint. Now, when it comes like to 1-on-1, are you using the same type of stuff to like stripe off a car, or are you actually doing the Tamiya stuff?
For real cars.
For your model stuff.
Yeah, it's all automotive.
It's all automotive.
If you look, that's my paint shape. It's all the full rack of automotives.
Holy
and then
cow.
This box here is pearls and flakes and different pearls and chameleons. And then this down here is nothing but automotive paints. And then down here is another rack of automotive paints and clears.
No, that's really cool. How are you spray brushing the flake?
I have a 0.5 tip
On an airbrush or a gun?
Airbrush. And some of the bigger ones, I just use a minigun.
Oh, okay. So when it's like when you're instead of doing like the automotive stuff where the flakes are like, oh, they can't see me. So when the automotive stuff, when you got the flakes, what they're about that big, right?
Yeah.
On the model cars, they're what, super tiny, right? Because they're to scale, right?
No, you use microflake, and then I usually use 2 different size flakes so it dances. Use a 0.4 flake and then a micro so it dances. It'll go through a 0.5 tip. You just have to pull the tip just back of just a little bit.
Oh, okay. So it's got to have enough room to clear all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you're trying to get at?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
You just don't put it so, you just don't have it so there's so much flake in it. You just kind of gently spray it. Might take 5 or 6 coats of it.
Okay. So we've talked about the paint, tape. What's some of the other tools that you like to use?
Striber a lot, Dremel, pin vices, I don't know, files. I have about everything just about everybody else has. I don't have anything special that anybody else has.
And are you mostly like the hobby section of the? Are you trying to shop in other sections of the store?
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the automotive, in
Automotive.
the
Okay.
craft store or anything. I mean, we do bead wire and trying to think of anything. Razor blades. I go through number 11 blades like there's no tomorrow. um, Standing sticks. Uh, Really good hacksaws and stuff like that. There's nothing spectacular I go use to build with. So, I mean, a good beginner with a good set of tools can do what I do. But the only
Okay.
thing, but the only thing expensive I have is a chop it. They're like $80 for making frames and stuff.
Oh, okay. I got you now. Okay.
I'm trying to think of where it is. My room's a disaster. I went from a big 16 by 20 room to by 8 by 8 room.
Uh-oh. I've
Yeah,
I'm
it's about the only expensive thing I've got to chop it,
Oh, okay.
to
I think
making frames and stuff. Everything
I think
else is just in the airbrushes and paints. Some of the paints can be pretty expensive.
um yeah, it's crazy what modeling supplies are now, right? Even the automotive stuff.
What's that?
I said it's crazy how expensive some of this stuff is now, huh?
Yeah. I don't know the I do a lot of slot car stuff for a lot slot car guys, and they want the best and the most wildest stuff. The guy that I get my paints from, he keeps some of his empty bottles and stuff for pearls that are really expensive, so it saves me a little money there. Some of my chameleons that are like, I don't know, $2,000-3,000. When it's like this much left in the bottle, it's dry and he can't use it or anything. He gives me the bottle and I just boost it up with uh, reducer and it saves me money.
I and it's kind of cool how we can either save just a little bit of money or spend twice as much, right?
Yeah.
There's not that middle ground.
Well, the paint place I go to, they have what they call overpours and mistakes, and it's a whole rack of that. And I I get paint pretty cheap that way.
Oh, okay. That's
Other than
cool.
some of the specialty colors, even then 2 or 3 ounces only like $12.
So so you have your multicolored car, right, in front of you?
Which one you want?
The multicolored one.
They're all pretty much right. This one
Okay.
has 13 colors on it.
I really like that paint job. I'm not gonna lie. I really like that paint job.
Um, yeah, it's got puzzle pieces, checkerboard, flames.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's 19 colors, 9 colors of pinstriping. It's got puzzle pieces, flames.
So one of my questions was gonna be, how many layers of clear coat is on that to make that work?
It's got 10 coats. I do 5 coats, let it sit for a few days, and then wet sand the crap out of it, and then 5 more coats.
Because it's that fine line. You don't want too many, right?
Right.
Right. And you don't want enough, right? It's that middle ground, and I always struggle with that. That's why I was going to ask you that, because all of your
I do a
cars
mist coat.
phenomenal.
I do a mist coat, and then I do 3 coats of like medium wet, and then whatever's in the cup, I go half and half with reducer, so it's super thin. So it's 2 coats of that, then and let it sit for 3 days. And then them last 2 coats are called flow coats. And it takes about 3 days for it to dry. And I just wet sand it with 1500 and 2000, and then start the process all over again. It's super shiny and super smooth. And what that does, it fills in all the tape lines.
Okay, so I understand that part, right? But the question is when you go to do, like, you started with the yellow, right? And then you put that next color on top of it, right? Are
You just a lot of back masking. For like this, it's white. You mask out like this blue line.
Okay.
And then do your fades, and then mask it all back out again, so all the blue and that's covered, and then shoot it all white, yellow. But you at the beginning you start with your checkerboard, so it's all white, and then you weed out your checkerboard. I use a laser cutter, and it cuts the checkerboard. So you sit there and weed out every other one, lay your pattern down, and you shoot the black.
Okay.
At first, you tape this out, lay your checkerboard out, shoot black, and then you do the little fades of purple and blue. Then you mask this out, and you never have to touch it ever again.
So in between each of those processes, though, you're not clear coating it. You're waiting until
No.
the right?
No, you don't have to touch it at all.
Oh, okay. I struggle with that. I'm not.
As long as it's thin enough, you don't have to touch anything.
Oh,
The other time you touch your clear, you might have Shiva. You might have to do a little intercoat clear to lock some things down. But as long as you're kind of gentle stuff, you don't have to. The only time you have to really do intercoat clear is if it's a blue, a red hue. So like purples or in the red family. That way it don't bleed through.
Oh, like from going like from blue to like red, right? Okay. Yeah.
And sometimes you just make sure it's safety. That way it's 2 light mist coats of intercoat clear like SG100. That way that if you think you might have a mistake, you just miss the little bit of SG100, which is hustle color stuff, intercoat clear. If you think you might have an issue, you just missed a little bit. That way, if you're worried about it, that way you might, in case you have a mistake, you missed it off and sand it, and that way you're good to go.
Yeah, you can tell you've done automotive work because automotive guys would say that. Right?
Well, in the 90s we did all the graphics on our mini trucks, and then I've been a lowrider, mini truck, and street cycle. So graphics kind of second nature for me. You just kind of think of what you want to do and start laying tape, and if it don't look good, you start pull tape off and start over.
Well, and that's why I wanted to ask you that, because you can tell that you've done automotive work just from the models that you see.
Yeah.
I don't watch. I went through the last week and looked at a bunch of your videos, and like it's like top 1 paint job, and then it's like another top 1 paint job and another top 1 paint job. It's like that's why I was curious how you were doing that.
Like, I grew up in Mini Truck Magazine. Pictures were all over my walls and stuff. And I went to see my dad in California, and we went to the grocery store, and there was, I don't know, I was 8 or 9 years old. There's lowriders in the parking lot of the grocery store, and they're hopping. I'm like, Dad, what are them? He goes, they're lowriders. Big out here. This is San Francisco. I'm like, yeah, I was instantly hooked to lowriders, and I never looked back. but I still do the whole mini truck scene. I love the crazy they do, from flames to zigzags to Swiss cheese. It's just not one style, and it's mixed all over the thing. Where lowriders, they have their one style on the cars. Where mini truck is it's all thrown in a bucket and thrown all over the cars.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so what's the next car you got to show?
This is a '64 Impala I just finished, and I actually did my laser cutter the Impala symbol on the center of the roof using FBS tape to make the graphic on the top.
So you painted that? That's not a decal?
Yeah.
I thought that was a
Yeah,
decal.
that's paint.
Oh my gosh, man. That's some skill there. I really love that paint job, by the way.
Thank you.
And
when you start doing stuff like this, you just start working your way out and from the center out, and that way you have to double mask.
so what color did you start with on that? Did you start with the blue?
It
Or the
was
purple?
silver base, and then I did brandy wine, and then a pink candy, and then taped it all out for the center emblem. Then I did violet pearl, and then a marbleizer, and then a blue candy for the center section, and then just a light blue candy, and then raindrops, and then the rest is all pink candy.
Yeah, like
It's a
I
pink
said,
pearl candy.
yeah, that's awesome, dude. I can't say enough how much awesome that looks.
Yeah, one of the guys in my local club makes fun of me. He goes, "You can't do pink." I'm like, "Watch me. I've done 4 or 5 pink candy paint jobs, and it stands out in the show tables."
Are you one of those guys that shows up, just puts your model down, and then takes the first place medal?
Not always, but almost all the times.
Almost all the time. No, that's awesome.
The Amsterdam has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 first top 10s, and it's won first or second place almost every place that is gone.
No, I have no doubt in my mind on that one. Okay, so you showed that one. What's the next one? Or was that the only two you grabbed?
That was the only 2 I brought out.
Okay. So my next question, windows. Okay. How are you getting them so clear?
I take a piece of 5,000 when it's straight out of the kit, and then rubbing polish on it. McGuire's polish, deep crystal polish on it.
Ooh.
And then
that. It's what? Which one?
I rub polishing cloth on it.
Okay.
And then use McGuire's polish, deep crystal polish on it.
Oh,
with an spray wax on it.
Oh, okay. No, that's
at the same time. So it kind of makes them like not like a paste, but like a final detail wax. So it kind of fills in all the imperfections.
So are you doing that all by hand, or are you actually using like a buff wheel?
Sometimes I'll use the Dremel with the black pad, the foam pad. Sometimes I'll just use a diaper by hand.
Diaper?
Yep. You get them from Walmart. They're real soft. They're like, I don't know, $3 or $4 for 2 or 3 of them.
Oh.
They're super soft.
Okay. No, that's a good tip. That's a good tip. You know, but okay. So when you're doing the windows, right? You're starting with 5,000. Now, you're just hand sanding it all the way across, right?
Yeah,
Or are you doing a little bit at a time?
all across.
And
But
then,
it's not sandpaper; it's the polishing cloth.
oh,
It's got a different texture. It's not a sandpaper; it's a cloth. My cat's been up here, so I don't know where it disappeared to. Yeah,
so so
it's not a sandpaper. It's like a cloth.
huh? Okay, I'll have to look into that because
Micromark has them, and they have them all the way up to 12,000.
and they're just a cloth, huh? That okay?
Yeah,
That's cool. All the way up to 12,000. Wow. That and you only use 5 for the window?
yeah, it's real soft. But once you use
Okay.
the McGuire soft polishing cloth on it, uh, this stuff on it. Uh,
Oh, okay.
and I use McGuire's like final detail at the same time, so it's like a half and half mixture with it, and it seems to be working.
No, like when you picked up the car and even the van, you can tell that there's not like I mean that stuff looks like glass. Doesn't look
Yeah, they're
like
like
plastic.
it's like glass.
Yeah. That it's just the little things that you notice by watching other people's videos, right?
Yeah, it takes the haze out of a kit window.
And that'll work on most of the manufacturers, right?
Yeah,
Like
other than
recommend.
the like Tamiya and Fujimi, the foreign kits, you gotta wash them with Dawn for some reason. They're full of mold release.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But it'll once you wash them a couple times with warm water and Dawn, then do it. It seems to work.
No, okay. Oh, so we've talked. Oh, you got into 3D printing lately. How have you been liking that?
Um, it's cheaper than buying aftermarket parts. We've been doing wheels and motors and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Is there is there a particular site that you're using to get most of the files from, or you just are you making
30 cults.
3D cults? Oh, okay. Yeah. I've been on there.
Yeah, I did a call for a friend of mine, and I upsized it three times. I don't know if you can see this, but this is the size of it, and that's upsized 3 times.
Whoa.
And that's
Wow.
even upsized it. But I can't imagine how tiny it was that the original file was.
Okay. So are you liking that whole process with the automotive side?
Yeah. So how you doing with it?
Well, I haven't done any car parts, but I've been printing out figures.
That's cool.
You know what I
I want
mean?
to I want
Like
to do a couple figures.
yeah, there's on like that Colts 3D, there's this, there's and you look on Thingiverse and My Mini Factory and you can find some cool stuff to paint.
Yeah, the guy I went in with the printers with, Jeff, his mom wanted a gnome, so we printed one. I don't know, probably about that big, And then we printed a field of gnomes that are about, I don't know, inch tall, just to see if we could do them. And the detail is amazing with them. We have a Mars and a Saturn.
Do you have the big printer for the Saturn, or is it just one of the like little bitty ones?
Yeah, we got the big Saturn.
Ooh.
Because we want to eventually do some bodies.
I was gonna ask if you've done a bunch of car stuff, because like the bodies and stuff, because you can kind of see that we're kind of headed that way.
Yeah,
I mean, people are starting to figure it out.
We figure that within the next couple years that you're not buying kits from like Rebel or anybody. You're buying a file and you'll get the whole kit buying a file and you'll have to print it yourself.
Yeah, like spending, say, $10, $15 for the whole file.
Right.
And then I see
and
us
you're
headed
printing yourself and you're not just locked in with just, spending $30 on a kit and you're spending $10 on the file and you can print as many as you want.
And here's the upside. You can upscale it, right?
Yep.
And make it bigger or smaller. And
right.
I see so many possibilities with all that.
But I think that's where the hobby's going.
Do you really think the quality is there for that to possibly happen?
Oh yeah. The parts we make are amazing, and the detail is there. I mean, some of the wheels we print are amazing.
Are you just doing the like 5 like those style of wheels?
We're doing stuff that's pretty integrate. They're the faces and stuff are amazing with the detail in them, and it's smooth. And there's this. I mean, I'm doing Budnick wheels that they're paper thin spokes, and they're up to, I think they're 26-inch wheels, and they're 14-inch wide, and they're just amazing.
I know with the resin side of it, the detail is absolutely there. The PLA side of it, good luck.
Yeah.
I could print out a body on my printer, but I don't want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're doing suspension parts and coilovers and all kinds of stuff. And it's really helping our side of the hobby. Just rock crawlers and drag stuff, and so between the two of us, it put the cost between two of us in half, and we're making all kinds of parts.
How are you liking the cost of all the resin?
It's not too bad. We're using water-based resin, and I think it's $30 a liter, and we buy 2 liters at a time, so it's not too bad. So you get a little bit of waste with the supports and stuff.
So I have stayed away from the water stuff, mostly because you hear about it always failing at some point. Have you had any of that experience?
Once you figure out how to position them so it don't fail, you're all right. A lot of times you have to do just a slight little angle instead of being flat or 45 degrees. Certain wheels are different than other wheels, and some different parts are different than others to get them smooth and stuff like that. And once you get the hang of angle and stuff, you're all right. But difference of like the cleanup with the alcohol and the IPA, you can't beat it, because you're not paying for the IPA and all that and the cleanup and stuff like that. Just warm water, and a little bit of the cheap alcohol degreaser from the dollar store, and you throw 1 part to 4 parts of warm water, and you're good to go.
Yeah, because what are you using to cure it?
A $20 nail light.
Like the little like fingernail.
Yep.
Huh.
And then
I
I do that for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then I put it underneath a shop light for overnight.
Oh, okay.
And it seems to be working for us. Some guys have them big, fancy UV lights that they do it for 20 hours. I'm like, you don't have to do that.
So this is what I've noticed, right? Especially on figures like this that print out just fine. If I cure this, like I've cured this for 30 minutes and it still feels like it's not all the way hard.
Still a little gummy.
Yeah, it's still, like it, and I overexpose the prints so they really cook. So they, but it just, and here, like we get up to like this time of year, we get up to like 75, 80 degrees. And then at night, we drop all the way down to like the 40s, 50s.
Try putting it on a shelf, I don't know, 6 inches away from a shop light overnight.
From a shop light? Oh, yeah. Yeah, like I try to, like I don't know if you can see it, but there's that clear light. It looks like a flashlight over there. And it works awesome for what I'm using it for. It really works awesome. But
yeah, because that's how we cure most of our parts. It's sitting under that fingernail light for 5 minutes or so, and then we put it underneath the shop light overnight, and it seems to be working.
No, the 3D printing stuff, it's like everybody has a little bit of a different experience with it. It's some of the weirdest stuff, that I've come across, right?
Yeah, right now we're doing twin turbo Hemis. Nitrous bottles. The sports for the nitrous bottles, the stand itself is a little flimsy.
Oh, so you're curing those on all the supports and everything?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
But we've got all kinds of wheels, and
those look like the Trans Am wheels, right?
These are Ford wheels. They're called Cobras.
Okay.
Yeah, these are the Budnick wheels.
Oh, look at that. That looks
These are 24 by 15s.
That looks so cool. And that's all water resin. That's impressive, dude.
Yeah, take them out of the bag for you.
Wow.
Like I said, it's got real thin spoke, and it's kind of hard to get off the support.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's got a thick spoke and a thin spoke.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Are you printing that like the back of the wheel or the inside of the wheel to the bed, or are you printing those at an angle?
Just at a slight angle.
Slight angle with the front or whatever
Yep.
it's closest,
And then the
right?
tires would go flat with like a 5 millimeter spacing.
Wow. Oh yeah, you can see the tread in there. That's crazy, dude. That is.
Yeah, you can't get wrong with 3D printing anymore.
Oh, that's awesome. I need to get a Saturn because everybody's having really good experiences with them.
And then we do, I don't know, we're playing with all kinds of different wheels. And then here's one of our drag wheels.
Oh,
Uh, it says MT on the tire itself.
yeah, it's hard to see that with the camera. I don't think the cell phone is going to pick it up, but yeah, you can kind of make out that
There
they're
you can
supposed
see
to be
it.
working.
And it's got bead locks on it.
Oh, nice.
And then the wheel itself.
Wow.
And then if you put it with the spacer,
So wait, back up a second. So the outer ring goes on top of that?
yep,
So that's how you're getting the deep dish look.
yep.
Oh. And all those files were on Cult 3D?
Yep.
Did you get them for
Yeah, they're
free?
just a couple bucks each.
Couple bucks each. That's cool. That's cool.
The guy has these wheels, Z-Force.
Okay.
He has some amazing wheels and tires. And there's like $3 or $4 a piece.
Oh.
And then we've got Seatbelts, like 5-point harnesses. This
You
is
gotta pull one of those out of the bag.
5 plates of them.
So wait. Is that all one piece or is that in little bitty pieces?
It's little bitty pieces.
Oh,
There's 5 plates of them. We was doing photoettes of them.
Yeah.
And then for the final, it's like $25 for the photoettes. We paid, I don't know, $4 for the file. And we're going through these like crazy. What else do we have that's odd? We got dually wheels. Pickup dually wheels.
Pickup dually wheels.
Yeah. 24-inch dually wheels.
Oh, okay. Looks like Vader's window.
So there's 6 of these for like doing the dually pickup trucks.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's cool.
And then the inside has the lugs on them too.
Oh, that's the outside wheel?
Yep. That's the front. That's the front one.
Okay. No, that's it's crazy what you can do with 3D print now. It's
getting better and better every day.
Yeah, the Miguel has been like producing all kinds of stuff. You know, Devil Dog Games on YouTube. He's and he'll probably put his channel name up in the that he uses, but I think it's Hobbyworks, and he's designing all kinds of car stuff. I got to get him back on so we can talk about it.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of fun with the 3D printer.
So what kind of figures are you looking to do?
I don't know. There's a couple that I've seen that there's certain things that evil looking, and I'm like, yeah, that would be interesting. But then I'm like, then I gotta paint it.
Hey,
I'm big in the horror movies and stuff like that, and the creepier the better. And a couple that I've seen that Red Dragon's done, I'm like, that'd be interesting to do. Then I'm like, so then I gotta paint it, and I'm like, never mind. There's a couple that I've seen at shows that I'm like, that'd be interesting to do.
No, that's cool. I think, at least for me, right? Doing the figures helped me do interior. Like my interiors are night and day, 100 times better. Learning how to paint, all that stuff. It's I can't even explain how much better like a lot of that stuff came for me after doing figures. So I really enjoy it, and now I'm like down the rabbit hole, right?
Yeah, hanging out with some of the military guys and figure guys, talking to them it's learning how to paint some of that stuff it's helping me be a builder modeler too.
And it's at the end of the day, it's crazy how much all those techniques kind of you can use them over here on a tank, here on a car, figure, ship. It's that's what I get out of it, because I like to do a lot of different stuff. But
yeah, it's crazy how everybody kind of cross mingles along everything.
So are you at some point going to do something other than a car? If you're going to do a figure, are you going to do like a tank or?
I did the main D9, and it took me about 6 months to do it.
Okay, so help me out. What is that? A tank?
It's a bulldozer.
Bulldozer. Oh, there you go.
And it's 1/35 scale, and it's like this big. It's armor D9 bulldozer, and it really it almost hit the wall a couple times. It's I did the metal tracks on it and everything, and yeah, it took me 6 months to do it.
Is that how you got better at weathering cars?
A little bit. I talked to a couple guys, and I use grout on it, and
grout.
Yeah, it's for like sand and stuff. It's just,
yeah.
I airbrushed dull coat and then sprinkled some grout on it, and then dull coat back on it to lock it all in.
Oh, yeah, there you go. As long as it turns out at the end of the day, everything works, right?
Yeah, it's just there's so many parts on it, and the instructions ain't the greatest on it, but you have to look like 5 steps ahead to figure out what you're doing, but it came out pretty nice. It won a bunch of awards with it too.
Oh, really? That's cool. Do something different and still taking first, right?
Yep. I have the I want to say it's an A scale, 10 scale, or 12 scale police motorcycle, but I want to make a big wheel chopper with it, with a big extended bags and stuff all on it, and I was trying to figure out how to do it yet.
That 3D printing will help with that. I'm telling you.
Yeah. One of my friends, Pablo, he's got the same. He wants to do the same thing, so he's going to design the bags and rear fender for us, and we're going to make it challenge each other with it.
And that's another guy, right? That paints off the chain too, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, I would love to get him on here too, but
He should be starting to wind down. He has an auto detailing business in Lima. He's like 2.5 hours away from me,
Oh, okay.
and he has a auto detailing business, so he's kind of busy. He's going to start winding down towards the winter, so we chat all the time. And I went to this Lima show last month, and we chatted a little bit. He came to the show that in his town. He's like, I can only stay for about a half hour. I'm busy at the shop.
Hey, you know what? When you gotta have that hustle sometimes.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, he's busy.
Right. So we've covered tools, cars, printing. So basically we've been about an hour. Did you have any questions for me?
Nope, I thought I follow you and see what you've been doing, so I follow you pretty well. So
yeah, I'm all over the place too. Yeah, I mean, just with some of the stuff that I've been doing, like with the 3D printer, like that's 3D printed.
Yeah, it looks good.
Like it's
Now, is that
crazy.
your filament or resin printer?
This is resin. Yeah, filament printer would not even come close to this. As much as I can dial in a filament printer, I can't even touch that. There's no way. Yeah. Like doing stuff like this,
It looks good.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
PLA, it'd just be a disaster, right? But no, like I was saying, we've been about an hour. If you didn't have any questions for me, I
No, I'm good. Like I said, I follow you a lot, and we chat a lot online. So
well, and if you go back and look at a lot of your videos, you explain a lot on how you're doing stuff too, which is kind of cool.
I have, like some of these guys, they try to hide everything what they're doing, and I have nothing to hide. If you have any questions, people have to do as much as me, and I try to explain it the best as I can and stuff like that. And I've a couple of guys that I paint for slot cars. He goes, "Oh, I didn't realize it was that easy. I don't have to pay you. You don't have to pay me and all that." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I just guess I just lost a customer."
Right.
I mean, some things is just is common sense, and people once they explain it to me, goes, "Oh, all it took was you explaining." A lot of guys hide stuff. I mean, it's nothing really to hide. It's just old school painting stuff, and nobody really taught them how to do it.
I mean, this is just my take on it. I don't mind when people hide stuff, right? That one doesn't bother me. But when you're showing something on how you do it, and then you leave one part of that technique out, that's what bothers me. You know what I mean?
Well, Jeff and I, we tried to figure out how to get this 64 Impala. Jeff's one of my close buddies, and we tried to get this 64 Impala as low as we could. It's body section down, and then once we did that down, we couldn't get the interior in right, and so the interior is sectioned down and tie sectioned, and there's a lot of work to get it done. But we did it between, we all need help, and Jeff helps me, and I help him, and I mean, but between two of us, we got this Impala done, and I mean, he helped me do most of, I called him, "Come help me, I can't figure it out." So he comes over, and we spent a couple hours, and we figured it out, and then he come home, left, and I'm like, "Well, something still ain't lined up." He come over the next day, and we figured it out. But one thing turns to another, and
Right.
between two of us, we ended up getting it done.
And you know that, I mean, and that's the cool part about our group, right? Our core group of modelers that are on YouTube. We all try to help each other at the end of the day.
Yep.
There's a couple bad apples, but
Like I said, I don't try to hide anything about my painting and stuff. And people ask me questions, I'll tell them exactly how I did it. And I've lost some of my good customers from telling them exactly what I do, and it's money out of my own pocket. So,
well, and you know what? And that's how. It sucks, right? That part of it kind of sucks, right? But at the end of the day, that's how this hobby grows. It doesn't, like, when people start like not sharing information, right? It kind of keeps stale, and it kind of,
right,
you know.
you're not going to grow, or just the hobby's not going to grow with people keeping secrets. And yeah, like doing the stencil on the roof of this Impala, you're not gonna. I'm on the Niji wood burning page, and the guy goes, "What's that have to do with wood burning?" I'm like, "You can do other things with his laser other than burn wood and cut your name in with laser and the pens. There's other things you do. You can cut, FPS tape and." Matter of fact, here's another stencil I got sitting here from cutting it, and it's FBS tape, and using the laser cutter underneath the hood of it, I cut styrene. That's what's the FBS. I cut the emblem symbol and the styrene. That's what's underneath the hood and trunk. Lasers has more uses than cutting, burning wood.
Right. But that's what the Impala symbol, right?
Yep.
Okay. That's
I made a couple extra in case I screwed up.
Right.
But all you have to do is ask me, well, explain to me more detail how you did that, and I'll try to explain more detail how I do stuff. And it's not rocket science how to paint. Other guys have been doing it since the '60s, and it's just doing other different ways of doing it.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Some people just explain it, and some people don't. And some people just hide it. And if you look on YouTube, there's probably a video on how to do this stuff, and if you just look hard enough, and
no, very, 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 very true. Very true.
And some guys won't tell you at all, and they just, it's done like it's there.
Nice. Well, anyway, man, thank you for coming on. I'm glad we were able to make it work. I Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's just another day of the week. What's another day, right?
Yep.
But
thank you for having me.
I'm really glad we were able to make this work. I know there's going to be a bunch of people that take information from this and go with it. So, but I will talk to you in a couple minutes. Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, everybody. So that was Steve. If you're not subscribed to Steve's channel, and I left the link to one of his videos in the description, go ahead and check it out, dude. He does really phenomenal work, and I can't say enough about the guy. He does awesome stuff. You saw two of the models tonight. So hey, I will check you guys next week. And next week is going to be a newer modeler to YouTube, not to the hobby, but to YouTube. So it's going to be an interesting show next week. I will check you guys next week. Bye.